What an honor to be here. I mean, how powerful is that, to hear the invocation, to hear our national anthem, looking at our flag and see this beautiful sun shine just coming through after several days of gloomy weather. That's the hand of God and him looking down upon us with Dr. Martin Luther King by his side looking down at us today. This is providence. When we speak of the creation of our nation, we tend to think of people like George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and you know, those are the folks that gave us this beautiful experiment called the United States of America. They provided us not only the Declaration of Independence that ignited the revolution and led to this country being established, but also the Constitution and the rights and liberties that are guaranteed therein. And so while many people think of our founding fathers and the creation of our nation, what we often fail to do is sometimes think about those leaders and those who have made significant sacrifices over the last 246 years to ensure and guarantee the maintenance of the Constitution, to ensure and guarantee the sustainment of those rights. And when you look at the establishment of our beautiful country, it wasn't necessarily perfect, right? And when we look at the documents our founding fathers wrote, whether it's the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution, I'll read a few of those passages here shortly. There was this notion that all men were created equal under God, and yet we still had an institution that would prove that otherwise for about 80 years in the early days of our nation's history. And so while we look at our founding fathers as keystones of our nation's history, it really is leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King who enabled the Constitution to be a reality in practice and in our real worlds. It's hard to believe that even within our own generations, my parents grew up in a generational period of our nation's history where black people had to go in a different entrance, where they weren't allowed to share the same water fountains as white people. That's staggering to me that this is something so near to our current moment in our nation's arc of history, and so flagrant. And Dr. Martin Luther King had the courage to fix that. And so as I reflect on the importance of Dr. Martin Luther King today, I do so from the lens of the historical traditions of our country being realized finally after, at that point, close to 200 years of promises made in the Constitution. And even today, while we're not perfect, we continue to get better. And so I want to read to you those two passages from first the Declaration of Independence, where our founding fathers wrote and signed that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And in the Constitution and the preamble of the Constitution, just a few short years later, they write, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States." And so while those words were very powerful, they were foundational to our nation and its government, how we run things, a federal republic like ours is a dynamically unstable one. It's one that, if left alone, will actually fall apart if it's not for the exertions of men and women who are serving their nation with pure and selfless intent, like Dr. Martin Luther King did. And so on this day, I'm proud to pay homage to him as an American, as a civil rights leader, but as someone who has helped in the preservation of this beautiful union, in this pursuit of making it a more perfect union. We have room to improve, but in the 246 years of our nation's history, there are a few people that have had as big of an impact on our country as the great Dr. Martin Luther King. So it's an honor to be here. God bless the United States.